Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Olympus number 200DW 26D, inch and 3/8. That has a KD in it. That just means keyed differently. This client ordered 4 of them, so all 4 will have a different key. That would, they're either keyed alike or keyed differently, and they're intentionally ordered that way. You wouldn't just order some and not care about the keying. You'd want to specify that. Let's start with a visual tour of this item, put some dimensions on it as well. Obviously, here's the business end of the lock. That bolt can either operate, well, it operates vertically. This could be the locked or the unlocked position. The key can be removed in both, well, it can be removed in both whatever would be the locked or the unlocked position, meaning it's non-key retaining. Let's take some dimensional properties. Overall width of the body, about 1 inch and 5/8. Overall height of the body, about 1 1/4 inches. Thickness of the body, it's about 1/2 inch, and that's where that 1 3/8 comes from the length of the cylinder body. The diameter of that is going to be right at about 13/16, I would say. And then the bolt projection, about 3/4. Its width, about 7/8. Its thickness, about, just heavy on 1/8 inch. Let's take a short tour of the rest of the components. Obviously, a couple of original keys. This is what they call their N series. It is compatible with national keyways, national types of keyways, 2 of them in fact, the D4291 or the D4292. This key that comes with this appears to be a 4-pin cut. I'm going to imagine that the cylinder is drilled 5, is why you could run a 5-pin blank into there. And I'm going to show you the strike. I won't take the screws out, but you have, what do you have here? You've got a total of 6 screws. 2 for the strike, and then 4 for the lock body itself. Now, the strike dimensions. Overall length, about 1 3/4 inches. Overall height, about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, okay? What will you use this for? What would you use this type of lock? Let's talk about that now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. So the question becomes what is this for? Well, it's for a drawer, is the bottom line. It's for a drawer that's going to probably have a slightly thicker than average effective thickness. It could be that the construction of the drawer front is such that you need a body that's 1 3/8. It may not just be typical 3/4. It could very likely be 1/2 inch something and then 3/4 backing on it, where you're going to drill through that. And that's really what this is used for. So, the height of the body, about 1 1/4 inches, that cylinder is going to be right at about 5/8 center line. Okay, so you've got an idea of where you would have to drill for that, assuming the body would be held shy, from the work, a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch, depending on any sort of overlap that you might have coming down in terms of the framework around it as well. But that's provided there for your information. These cylinders can be rekeyed. There's a set screw that's here, and that will allow that assembly to come out. And someone who possesses skills of locksmithing and the tools, of course, and the parts to do it, would successfully be able to recombinate this. The factory can also do keying as well. I don't know that they can be given a bitting. I imagine that they can, provided it's their original. So if you tell them that you need so many of these locks combinated to the 502 indirect code, 502, they literally go to a reference manual and say, 502, okay, great. Then they know what the cuts are, the actual cuts on the key. I am not familiar with their system to know how many depths it is, what the increment is between the depths, so I couldn't know it. I'm tempted to say the first 2 cuts look like a 1 cut, and then maybe a 2 cut and then a 3 cut. So this could be 1, 1, 2, 3 for all I know. Complete guesswork. I just haven't studied the Olympus line of locks when it comes to the science of locksmithing. But you could certainly order it that way. Okay, very nice quality material. This is going to be in the 26D finish, they call it, which is meant to infer satin chrome. Has the Olympus logo on the front there. Okay, which is like a mountain logo. Mount Olympus, I think, is what they're going for there. Let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at the several and many supporting documents. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Let's take a look at this item that we have here. And speaking of taking a look, let's look at some photographs that we have. There's the packaging and the contents. Just different perspectives on the lock body itself. Back side of the unit. The 6 screws and the strike, and then your 2 original keys are there. Extended description information. Deadbolt drawer lock. It's clearly a deadbolt. It's not a latch. Can be keyed together with other N-series locks. Easily rekeyable via set screw cylinder release mechanism. Key removable in locked or unlocked position. That makes it non-key retaining. The standard function is key removable in locked and unlocked position. This is not a key retaining model. I'm going to eliminate that line from this description. We have that removed. Body, zinc die cast. Cylinder, solid brass pin tumbler. That means the tumblers are made of brass. Not the best tumbler to use in a cylinder, in a pin tumbler cylinder. Nickel silver would be more durable, but nonetheless those are brass. Cylinder length and barrel diameter dimensions we've given. 2 keys, a strike, and your screws. N-series equivalent to the National D4291 or the 4292. We can take a look at some of this material. We have let's just look up Compex. I think that's the name of the company that, yeah, it might be the umbrella name. Okay, so we'll go to the Compex website, and then they have their Compex National. Download National Catalog. Compex National. $4291 is what they said. So in the National Catalog itself, we definitely see references to the D4291. Lots of them, in fact. And the point of all of this is you will see national locks that are similar to this. And what I'm driving at is finding the key blanks, which I imagine are here. Yeah, right here. D4291 4-pin tumbler, or the 4292. Shows what the cross section or the broaching in the cylinder plug looks like on those. So that's interesting. And by the time you're seeing this video, we will have added to the website, if you were to search for Compex and then click on any of the Compex items and then the manufacturer's page, we will have uploaded all of those catalogs. I thought the National Catalog was already here. It's not. Anyway, Olympus is referring to National, and I just wanted to point out to you where the original manufacturer's catalog was for that. You might need to do additional research. When you buy one, we'll ship you one. Now, you can see that there's a whole mess of documents here. Some of them are duplicates in one way or another. Let's roll through them. Catalog page. This is going to be the cut sheet. This is going to be what you're going to refer to when it comes to what is it that I'm considering. You'll take note first. This is a grade 1 lock. That means it's been tested to 1,000,000 cycles. The highest level of grading that's given to builders hardware is grade 1. There's nothing above it. There should be, in my opinion, there should be maybe a 2.5 million or a 10 million cycle lock rating for all things that are hardware related. You know, make it optional for people to test to beyond grade 1, but it could be a way to separate people separate manufacturers from each other. And I'm really referring to cylindrical or mortise locks. 200DW, that's what we're working on here. You can see that there's an LB long bolt function should you have a design of your drawer that requires that. They have an MRI version that's made of all non-magnetic materials. Very interesting. That's an unusual application, right? How often do you need something that can be used in the presence of an MRI machine? Weather resistant as well, suitable for outdoor covered areas. Two different listings here of part numbers. The difference is the cylinder length. So there's actually 3, 15, 16 inch and 3/8 or inch and 5/8. You can specify those key numbers that you want, or they can be custom keyed. Okay. LB for long bolt. Key retaining can be ordered as well. The non-ferrous, well, both of them are well, weather resistant and then non-magnetic. Every cut sheet that you look at from Olympus will have this right column of the summary of everything, and this is the good go-to first. You can quickly see what you're dealing with just by scrolling through this summary column that's here. Different finishes: satin chrome, satin brass, oil rub bronze, and black. Next document is called Datasheet. Okay, same information, just shown in a different scenario. Shows those different finishes. Installation instructions. This is handy because it will allow you to visualize how you might go about installing it. I had referenced earlier different, conditions on how which the material has been built. The drawer has been built. Obviously, we don't see this very often. You'd need a different strike for that. Full overlay, very common. Lipped overlay, less common as far as I'm concerned. Flush, obviously, very common. But you're going to need to think about what strike plate that you'll need on that, because you're getting the 12-3 angle strike. And that may not be appropriate for what you're working on. I mean, the lipped overlay, you could certainly make that work on that. You're going to need some sort of a bushing that's here, unless... Well, it's not clear to me what they're intending here. But they have the, in addition to the drawings, they show these shims that are down here, or spacers they call them. And that's literally if the length of the body is longer than necessary for your application. And this refers to using shims. And they come in those different thicknesses: 3/32, quarter, half-inch. Here's a template. This would be for the typical installation. The next document, architectural specifications. I won't review this except to say if you need to convey to someone else what you require on a project, this would be the specifications published from the manufacturer to do so. You would use that if you are an architectural hardware consultant assisting a locksmith, assisting an architect. If you're developing construction documents, you might use that. Rekeying instructions. You likely don't need these because they're pretty straightforward. 200 series. Remove set screw from barrel of lock. Remove internal cylinder. Remove brass retainer on back of the cylinder. Turn the key a quarter turn and place your plug follower into the back of the cylinder plug. Push the plug follower through, removing the plug for rekeying. The steps that they're putting out here, itemizing here, listing here, are the same types of steps that you would take on rekeying many cylindrical or tubular lock cylinders. Nothing different there or unusual. Key retaining chart. This is non-key retaining. This is handy because they do define KV or KI. You can see what the position of the bolt is when you can remove the key. So this is non-key retaining, so none of this applies. But if you had one, this document would apply. Key retaining instructions. This is showing you how you can convert from key retaining to non-key retaining. So you're going to need a different part inside of there, but this will show you how to convert that should it be necessary. Yeah, either the key retaining cam or the standard cam disc. Now, there's a link below this video, as seen here, to the manufacturer's page, where you can pull up not only all of the Olympus products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to their full product catalog. I would very much recommend a dive into the full product catalog, because Olympus manufactures institutional grade cabinet locks. That means heavy duty, grade 1, the toughest material around kind of stuff. And they can do it for lots of different applications, and they can do it for many different cylinder platforms, meaning if you want to do Corbin or Sargent or Schlage or small format, they can do it. They can do Medico as well, which would be same as Yale in terms of the Medico compatible core with a Yale system. Medico makes their own. They also make one compatible with Yale and many other manufacturers. So lots of ways to be able to introduce the Olympus product line into the existing key system that you already have. You don't want these new little N key blanks running around your system? No problem. Order one for a removable core for your system, say Sargent or Schlage or Corbin Russwin, as I said earlier. Okay. So they really ought to be able to handle the requirements. And I'll leave it to you to scroll through this. I would suggest, and most definitely if you deal with the need for heavy-duty, small footprint locks for furniture, the Olympus catalog stands alone in its available breadth and width of options, but also the caliber and quality. And then I'll say that it's hard to need something that these guys can't do. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've made it this far into this video, you must be determined to see it through to the end, and we appreciate your hanging in there with us and watching this entire video. It means a lot. It takes a lot of work to create these videos, in the sense that it's time taken away from doing other things. However, the advantage for me personally of creating these videos is the fact that it does allow myself to either learn about something new, to reacquaint myself with something, or to reinforce what I believe that I already know. Any comments that you might leave down below would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. In conclusion, really great quality item. Equally great is their tech support. There's a gentleman over there who has been, and it's interesting, we have worked in a reciprocal fashion. Olympus has ordered material from me, and I have been able to draw on their exceptional technical support to help me order material from them. Really great command of the product offering that Olympus has. I had a client, the National Park Service, and they had a couple of dozen, and I've told this story before, so forgive me if you've already heard it, a couple of dozen cam lock applications, and the park rangers were always breaking the keys. They had a particular need for a very odd cam lock, in the sense that they wanted it to be able to thread on and be held on with a nut, but also have it clip retaining, like you would see on the back of a paper towel dispenser in a commercial restroom. To use that retaining clip, you have to slice the body of the unit on either side for the clip to go on. Well, that's dependent on the thickness of the material as well. So Olympus was able to provide us a nut retaining, a clip retaining, cam lock with the proper cam for the client, with a small format, full-size key. So it gave them a much bigger key. You can kind of, imagine that the keys that come with this might be considered a little lighter duty than an actual full-size door key. Solved the problem. It's been a year or two. They've not called back with any broken keys, so good for you, Olympus. Any questions on the 200DW or any other Olympus product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.